13 years ago, I went to a youth event that changed my life. I walked in and I was a high school senior. I'd been to retreats and camps and conferences my whole life. But I went in and I saw young people, teenagers, some college students, even some junior high students that were worshiping up at the front with hands raised. And that kind of freaked me out at first. And then when we go into worship, I saw students having a literal encounter with God. And there was youth groups that would gather after the event was over and pray together, or skip lunch to pray. There was a fervency and an aggressiveness in the pursuit of God that I had never really seen before. And I saw students that in these few days that were set apart to connect with God, rather than just feeling like they were being motivated by leaders to try, instead it was like they were really having an encounter with God. I personally had a pretty powerful encounter with God that weekend. I know for all of us as youth pastors and youth leaders from the local church, we're looking for a way for our students to really encounter God. I mean, we've heard what the guys throwing out the statistics are saying, that so often we're losing students in their college years from the local church, that they're a part of high school and junior high activity as their teen years in the local church, and then they leave. And we all know the way for them to remain Christ followers and disciples once they leave. We know that it's to get them connected to an authentic relationship with Jesus. That realistically, it's not so much about, the crazy fun experiences. Those are good things. Those are great times. But really, it's about that they have a real encounter with God. I've had youth pastors call me from across the country that have been so delighted because they've come here to Colorado or to one of our other events, and their kids had a real encounter with God. In the 3 days that they were here seeking God, students had a genuine encounter with God. I think of John Wesley, who was doing all of the religious things well and right, but the moment that he says at Aldersgate his heart was strangely warmed was a dynamic, a moment where God intervened and changed him. At Desperation, realistically, it's 3 days of session after session after session of drawing near to God and asking that He would draw near to us. Sure, we have some phenomenal bands. Leland will be at all 3 events this summer. We'll have Matt Redman here in Colorado. Desperation Band is a staple. We're going to have phenomenal speakers. But the core important thing is that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, session after session, we're going to worship. We're going to pray, and we're going to put ourselves in the position to encounter and experience God and say, God, come meet us. And it's not a spiritual maturity thing. It's kind of more like the prodigal son who in his weakness and his brokenness just came to his senses and said, it's better at my father's house. I'm going to go back. And we're just going to come with whoever we are, 15-year-olds and whatever they're struggling with, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds. But all of the different age groups in the local church coming together, worshiping God, praying, seeking the face of God and saying, God, we're not dependent on anything else. We can't count on anything else. We're dependent on you. We're counting on you to change our lives. We're counting on you to meet us here. We're counting on you to change us. I want to encourage you as a local church youth pastor, youth leader, to put on your calendar one of the Desperation conferences. Will be not only in Colorado Springs this year, but again in Birmingham, Alabama at Church of the Highlands, and then we'll be at Resurrection Life in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's going to be phenomenal. All 3 at local churches, 3 different regions. God's going to come in power. God's going to meet us. And I know that this will be something where your students will walk in, and like I did as an 18-year-old, go and say, this is different. This is a place where we're pressing into God, and it's not about all the other things. We're counting on God. We're spiritually hungry. We're actually our word is desperate for God to move in us and move in our generation. I'd like to invite you to be a part of one of these 3 events. You can check out and get more information at desperationonline.com, and we'll see you this summer. about this man, Jesus, or is your story mostly about you?
The world hates me, it's gonna hate you. So when you walk into a dark culture and you say, let me shine bright the light of Jesus Christ, and people say, no, why are you shocked and surprised? Just do it anyway.
Don't even look like it. Don't even hang around with it. Don't even put your foot on it. Just kind of stick your toe on it. Get your foot off the path. Get your toes away from the path. If sin is over there, run over here and plant yourself. Are we not dreamers? Are we not dreamers? Are we not dreamers? Oh God, thank you for making us the dreamers of this generation.
I'm in love with the God of the ages, and this is the thing that caused my heart to come alive. This is who he is.
Shining the light of salvation.